All right. Are we live? I think we're live. KBH is in the house. Who else? Who else? All right. What's going on? KBH. Welcome to our second episode of the podcast show. Today we're doing China, and China was a spectacular race, as I'm sure anyone who watched it will absolutely want to talk about it to you for hours and hours on end. It was great. All right, so this is the live version of the show. At the end of the show, there will be a slightly edited one loaded up in a couple of hours. So if you do join us live, thank you for joining us live today. And yeah, let's talk everything F1. It was China, obviously. Good morning, Beth. Sam Baker's in the house, yo. If I could get your description of the Bahrain, not the Bahrain one, we know that was exciting, but the Chinese Grand Prix. Is it unanimous here in chat that we all enjoyed watching it, or listening to it, or however we consumed the Formula One on the weekend? And thank you to everyone who joined up and subscribed as well. You're champions. So yeah, don't forget Discord as well. And yeah, I've got to actually turn on the YouTube chat. Otherwise, those watching it later won't know what's being said. KBH. It's a little bit loud, a little bit big actually. All right. So yeah, let's talk into the first points. We had free practice 3 brought up a little bit of a curveball for Daniel Ricciardo. His engine blew up. So they had 2 hours to get his engine back together. And apparently Renault, they had the spare engine, but they hadn't put it together. So yeah, Red Bull weren't too happy. They were sourcing parts from everywhere, cannibalizing things, putting this thing together. And somehow they put a completely new engine in his car with 5 minutes left to go in Q1. And he managed to get through Q1 in 6th. And then I think he ended up qualifying 6th overall, if my memory serves me correctly. So, Sam Baker saying, best race since last year's Azerbaijan race, in my opinion. Azerbaijan last year. Azerbaijan was good, wasn't it, last year? We had the Vettel incident with Hamilton. What about Singapore? Did you not enjoy Singapore? I know there was a lot of carnage at the start, but I think F1 this year is going to be a completely different show. We've already seen, because Daniel Ricciardo won in a Red Bull. Hamilton was struggling all weekend. Verstappen, at the moment, his form, he's being a little bit aggressive, and we'll discuss that further. So if you got points about Verstappen, hold them off just a little bit. Pierre Gasly went from hero to zero within a week. It's not hard to do after crashing into Hartly. And Bottas, I don't know. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. He sort of was criticised last week for not attacking on the final laps, because maybe he could have gotten first. And now this week he's being criticised again, maybe by some parties, for maybe not defending, because he was winning the race. But strategy played a massive part in today's race again, and I love strategy in Formula One. I really do. I hope that you guys at home like strategy. I'm guessing everyone here tonight is a massive fan of Formula One strategy, tyre changing, all that business, getting the safety car, taking advantage of it, all that gear. I love it. I really do. KBH loves strategy. Champion. It's good, isn't it? It throws up curveballs here and there. It might even level the playing field at times if people can play the strategy right. And if we segue into strategy, let's talk about Raikkonen. Ferrari absolutely ruined his race. He was lucky to get third. And KBH saying he loves doing his own racing as well. For those playing at home, KBH is a real world racer. So, yeah, if you're in Australia, I think he's down in our beautiful state of Victoria. Check him out at the racetrack. I'm sure he'll say hi. All right. What else did you add, KPH, during our Discord server? You said, personally, because I'm an Aussie, I think that Daniel Ricciardo's overtakes on the last couple of laps were amazing. On the negative, Kimi was dogged hard by Ferrari, and karma struck Vettel from Maldonado, aka Verstappen. Welcome to the stream, Daniel. I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, let's talk about Raikkonen. I had a lap thing up, and it had everyone's pit stops, right? So if we look at Force India, they first pit lap 11, Renault, Sainz, 12. Then we look at someone like Hulkenberg, 13. Verstappen went in on 17. Ricciardo went in on 17 as well. They double stacked them. Mercedes went 18. Hamilton first, then Bottas 19. Vettel went 20. And then that's where Bottas got the overtake done, as the Mercedes strategy at that point was spot on, giving Bottas the undertake, which is just awesome. But then you wait, and you keep reading down this list, and you're like, where is Kimi Raikkonen? He was one of the front starters, and he started on the soft. And Kimi Raikkonen comes in at lap 27, I believe. Lap 27. He was out for so long. Hamilton's strategy was awful, Beth saying as well. Yeah, there was some very interesting strategy calls. So first, Kimi Raikkonen's won, lap 27. Terrible. He was out for so long. His tyres weren't working. I don't know if at this point Ferrari has decided to use Raikkonen as the second driver. Who cares where Raikkonen comes? We just want Vettel to win, because it almost looked like they were trying to use Raikkonen as sort of a rolling roadblock, which didn't really work, as Bottas made an easy meal of Raikkonen anyway. But yeah, there were some interesting strategy calls. Now, the Mercedes strategy call come in to question as well. And Toto Wolff at the end of the race said, 30 minutes later, we should have pitted. Now, what happened there was the safety car, because Gasly and Hartly came together. So Gasly and Hartly came together because they were told to swap positions. Gasly was apparently miscommunicated and heard that he would take over Hartly in lap 14, but Hartly shut the door because he said he was going to give the position back after turn 14. So yeah, there was a little bit of miscommunication, and they came together. Debris everywhere over that corner, and subsequently it caused a safety car. And that's when everything changed. Everything changed. But let's first go back to the Gasly and Hartly incident as well. I do have some radio messages to play that I don't know if we always heard. So Hartly, this is Pierre Gasly as he's just after he's hit Hartly.
What the f*** are you close the door? What is that?
He was angry. Gasly was not a happy man. He was told he was getting that position on that corner. Hartly replied,
I just got hit by Gasly. I think there's a lot of damage.
Where did you hit? What the point?
He hit me on the rear. He hit me on the rear. Okay, I definitely have a problem.
He did. Hartly ended up having a gearbox issue and he retired on lap 53. So yeah, Brendan Hartley and Gasly caused an incident, trying to give back and swap positions, and made a safety car, and that's where the game changed. So, while I've been rambling on, you guys have been having a good chat, and I'm not paying any attention to it. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about everything I've said and anything you think. So, we mentioned before, Bethany said Hamilton's strategy was awful. It was. Force India need to improve the game, from KPH. Yeah, they didn't do too well, did they? I can't remember where they finished. Let's have a look at these race results. Where was the best Force India on the race sheet? Force India 11, Esteban Ocon, and Sergio Perez was 12. So no points for Force India. So you make a good point. They did come out during the week and say they had issues, a fundamental underlying issue with the design of the car, basically. They said during wind tunnel testing, and models and everything that they do before they build the car, they had a certain data set and they built the wings and stuff for that reason. But apparently the wings aren't working. There's lost grip, I think, on the rear. So the front wing's wrong. It's not creating as much grip on the rear. There's probably a few other options, but Force India did come out and confirm that there is definitely indeed a fundamental issue with the car. So that's a valid point there from KPH. Sam Baker, Alonso showing his class at the start of the season. He is, isn't he? I think he finished 7th, if I'm not wrong. Let's have a look. McLaren Honda, 7th. He's making a habit of it, actually. There was an interesting message said to him after the race, actually. I'll see if I can find it for you. It was obviously his engineer talking to him after everyone's crossed the line. And it's interesting to listen to. So I think this is it here. Let's have a listen.
And great racing, Fernando. Great racing. Well done, mate. Good race. Good race. We finished P7. P7.
Yeah, great guys. P7. Again, good comeback.
Yeah, indeed, mate. Great race. P7 again, beginning to become a lucky number. Let's try and get ourselves a lower lucky number, shall we?
So there, that was at the end of the race. Obviously, McLaren were happy with the 7. I'm just trying to, I can't remember now where Van Dorn placed. Where did the other McLaren place? 13. So he's out of the points, unfortunately. But yeah, McLaren pretty happy with Van Dorn's run, obviously. So that was good. Oh, sorry, not Van Dorn's run. Alonso's run. He also made a really good overtake on Vettel during the exit of Turn 2. Did push him off a little bit, but it was racing, I think. Vettel made a little complaint over the radio, but I think it was nothing major at all. Alright, Flying Tiger, next in line. I love Kimi, but you have to acknowledge and accept it is a team sport. Going to Ferrari and complaining about how they do things would be like going to see the Pope and saying his hat looks stupid. So yeah, Sam's touching on things. Flying Tiger's touching on things earlier on where I said Raikkonen's strategy pretty much ruined his race. I know, fair enough. Formula One is obviously a massive team sport, as you can see from Daniel Ricciardo's outcome. Without the team behind him, he would never have gotten pole today. But yeah, like I'm sure Raikkonen knew when he joined Ferrari, he is the second driver basically. I just don't know how Raikkonen's feeling about that. Obviously, because we don't get a lot of emotions from him. So I'm sure if he didn't, feel that way, I'm sure there is a little bit in Raikkonen right now. He's like, yeah, I'm here to help Vettel win, and if I get anything out of it, it's just kind of lucky, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I was a little bit upset for Raikkonen. Where did Haas finish? Bethany Dawn Thompson. Alright, let's double check those stats. Yeah, Haas had a good run in Australia. That's where, but then they had the DNFs because of the cross-threading, which became quite a big issue over the next couple of races. We've got Grosjean in 17th and Magnussen 10th. So Magnussen got him a point. I remember him saying at the end of the race he was sorry that he couldn't hold off the last couple of cars that overtook him. I think Sainz and I think Alonso got him at some point towards the end. So yeah, it was regretful he didn't get higher, but the team was happy to get a point. So yeah, not too bad for Haas, but it wasn't the best weekend. Only one of them scoring in the points. Alright. Scored points in all weeks. So I think that's talking about Alonso. And Flying Tiger, going back to the Kimi thing, I'm sure it's not easy for Kimi, no doubt. I don't think it would be. I totally don't. Sam Baker also adding, I don't think Kimi likes it. However, he probably knows that no other top team would take him now. Yeah, he's getting a little bit old. He's still very quick. But yeah, I don't know if he actually fits in any other team. That's an interesting question. Where would you slot Raikkonen in amongst the Formula One grid at the moment? I don't know. Does anyone have any ideas about that? I'm trying to think, where would you put Raikkonen if he wasn't Ferrari right now? I don't know if he fits at Red Bull. Let's say Ricciardo and him swapped. I don't think that works. None of the other teams are really... Like Mercedes, no. Because I think they're pretty happy with what they've got. So yeah, and I don't think Raikkonen would want to go to any other team, I guess, than the top ones. I think that's fair to say. All right. Jack the Joke asked when the shoey's coming. He's consistent, aren't you, Jack? I did promise a shoey this week. I want to make a video about it, but I'll be doing the shoey, I promise. It'll be up on the YouTube by Friday at the latest. That is as long as everything goes to plan that I want it to do. So by Friday, my time, we should have a shoey from me. Because Daniel Ricciardo won, I promised a shoey. It's happening, so don't miss it. No worries, Daniel. We're here to talk F1, and I love it. KBH actually adding, he feels like Kimi could go to Haas. So we're talking about where we would put Kimi if he wasn't Ferrari. You know what? That's probably the only place that he would fit, considering they're sort of buying Ferrari gear and using their stuff. How do I feel about Renault's new undertray wing? That's a good question, because I don't know anything about that. That's probably something I should look into. Can you share any more information on that, KBH? I honestly didn't know that. Is it working for them? Tell me more. This is interesting. Tiger adding about the Kimi situation. Where do you go after Ferrari? I mean, old racing drivers never die, they just fade. Kimi has done good, a world champ, and has nothing to prove. That's true. I think if you're going to continue racing, you don't continue to race in F1. Maybe the World Endurance Championships, possibly, maybe Rally, I don't know. But he's also married as well. So maybe he wants to just end on a high, the best he can, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see when Kimi retires, actually. That's a good question. Alright, so the next topic that we've talked about, I want to talk about, is Verstappen. Verstappen, on stream, upset so many people for many different reasons. Verstappen caused an accident last week with Hamilton, as we know, and Verstappen this week crashed into the World Championship leader, Sebastian Vettel, turn 14. He was making a pretty rash overtake on turn 14. Everything pretty much happened at 14, because it's the big hairpin after the long straight, so that's where most overtakes are done. Yeah, he dived in, where I really don't think Verstappen had any place to be, and yeah, caused them to spin out. Ended up getting a 10-second time penalty for it, but he wasn't really penalised as much as Vettel was because of it. Vettel still ended up being like 8th at the end. He started getting overtaken right at the last few laps. He had a bit of damage, some speed issues, but Vettel came off worse, really. Baker adding, fair play to Vettel for apologising. No, that's true. He did apologise. I think I've got the quote here to talk about. So let's just read a little snapshot of what happened and the result. Verstappen was given a 10-second penalty for causing that collision, of course. But despite seeing his title advantage over Lewis Hamilton slip, talking about Vettel, from 17 to 19 points, Vettel was surprisingly philosophical about what happened. This is what he had to say, and I quote, "I didn't see him until very late, so I left a little bit of room as well. To be honest, I was expecting him to come earlier. I had no intention to resist, because it was clear with Daniel as well that there was no point doing so, as they were just too fast on the fresh tyres. I didn't want to compromise my race to the guys behind. But then obviously he did a mistake, he locked up, which happens. We had a tailwind down that straight the whole race, so I guess he misjudged and compromised both our results." I've actually got audio footage from both reactions from those guys. So the first one is pretty much Verstappen, his immediate reaction after crashing into Sebastian Vettel. I've got to find it first. Seems to have disappeared. Anyway, this is Sebastian Vettel reacting.
Okay, obviously it was a difficult afternoon.
Sorry, that's the end of the race. I'm reading the wrong one. This is Max Verstappen.
You locked up and then just turned in very sharp.
And then Vettel replied to this to his team. It was pretty much, you can guess his mood.
I don't think I need to say anything here.
Copy it.
So yeah, nothing to be said. I think it was too angry for even the radio. Then the 10-second penalty came over the message like this to Verstappen.
All right, Max, so we've been given a 10-second time penalty. So we just need to maximise this result, okay? No more mistakes. Maximise this result.
Interesting there how he's told to make no more mistakes because he's good at making them at the moment. So I'll be interested to... I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that debrief. Or just maybe when when Verstappen's in a room alone with the team bosses. They're probably going to tell him to just calm the F down a little bit. Because, he's not had a great run, has he? And he's upset a lot of people because of it. And this was Sebastian Vettel at the end of the race. So you can hear how he felt. And this is pretty much what all became because of Verstappen. This is Vettel.
Okay, obviously it was a difficult afternoon. At the end, after the shunt, I picked up quite a bit of bottoming, or quite a lot of bottoming actually, and a lot of understeer mid-corner, so I had no fronts at the end. Sorry, I couldn't keep the guys behind.
So yeah, that was Sebastian Vettel at the end of the race talking over the radio there. We've got a few people adding in. KK saying Vettel was playing safe in China. He should have taken some risks. Yeah, after getting overtaken by Bottas because of the undercut. Yeah, but I think he struggled with front end grip because a lot of people were complaining of that. The dirty air obviously plays a massive role in that, and because China has so many large radius and fast turning corners, the front tires are the most, they're the most used. They're degraded quicker than anything else in the car. So front end grip, I think, was an issue. And because it's a fast track, they run low wing. So that sacrifices grip again. So I think everything just played into it. And yeah, it just sort of, it didn't work out in Vettel's favour in the end. Maybe he was driving at the maximum, I don't know, but yeah, he didn't seem to take many risks, but then again, I don't know if he got the opportunity to. Tiger adding, with all the hate for Verstappen, he did immediately go to Vettel and apologise, and also acknowledge that he would have been more patient with both Hamilton and Vettel. I think he knows he could have won. He could have won, definitely, if he didn't make the mistake. I mean, you live and learn. He's still young. The mistake for him being young, though, I think is getting just a tiny bit old, because he's been in this business now long enough. But I think as a racing driver, these things will improve. Because as you can see, Daniel Ricciardo knows how to do it. So maybe they'll go out on the weekend and just practice overtakes, with Daniel being the boss. And I also wondered if, because of Verstappen's latest form, I also wondered if maybe Ricciardo, you know, let's say Ricciardo and Verstappen are equal-ish. There's not really a clear 1 and 2. I wonder if after this weekend, Ricciardo's slightly ahead now. I wonder if there's a slight bias now towards Ricciardo. I don't think you'll notice it, but just behind the scenes, it's just something I thought about after, what Verstappen's been doing lately. Yeah, the debrief must have been something. Totally agree there, man. All right. Let's have a look. What else you guys have been talking about? Let's go back to that rear wing issue KVH was talking about. Not an issue, but some new rear wing that I didn't know about. So let's hopefully we can get a little bit of information on it. I'm going to read what he said. Renault's new under-tray wing helped with improvements over long stints on the front tyre. This is why Renault didn't have many problems in their tyre in Melbourne, Bahrain and China. Interesting, dude. Interesting. And China front tyres, important. The wing sits just under the driver's knees, and it also provides more downforce to the main. Okay. Well, I'll definitely research this topic this week, and I'll show it off in the next podcast next week. Or not next week, after the next race. For sure. That's really cool. I had no idea about that, so thank you for sharing that. And then we had someone going off topic, but let's do the off topic stuff. Sam saying, would like to see Hulkenberg replace Kimi. Yeah, Hulkenberg would do very well in a Ferrari seat, and Hulkenberg's doing pretty well himself. So, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing that. I just noticed Jack the Joke asking about the Shui again. You're a legend, dude. I love it. Where did Hulkenberg finish? We've got the results here. Just trying to find his name. 6th. Awesome. And Sainz, I think, was in the points as well. Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Something I never ever thought about. But I'm totally sure Hulkenberg would drive the wheels off a Ferrari. I would like to see that as well. So maybe very soon. It could be something we see very soon. But there's also the talk of Ricciardo going to Ferrari. So it'll probably be those two fighting for it, I would imagine. KK adding, Hulkenberg has a huge potential. Unfortunately, Force India and Renault were not the best at speed. No, they weren't. But I think Hulkenberg got the best that he could. I was surprised he went to Renault. But I think this year, I think we might see some good results, actually. So maybe it was a decent move. I think he was thinking more long-term than I did. Flying, again, adding, Renault's massive budget has already overtaken Haas's early advantage. Interesting. Yeah, true. True. KPH wants to add as well, the Sauber of Leclerc had problems with DDA in his car, explaining why he spun at turn 1. Yes, the DDA. I was meant to look that up. I remember you mentioning it during the race as well, dude. But the DDA, is that like D rating or is that something else? Has it got something to do with the MGUK or the MGUH at all? Because I honestly don't know what the DDA is. When you say it, I'll probably know it. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, Leclerc did spin on lap 1. No, not lap 1, but at turn 1 at some point after he pitted. He complained that the balance was all off and it was driving horribly. But no, I don't know what DDA is. I would love an explanation of what the DDA is, honestly. I really would. So, while that's being explained to me, let's talk about Ricciardo's win. Like I said, free practice 3, engine blows up. You think it's all over for the guy. His weekend must be done. The team worked tirelessly in 2 hours, get him out with about 4 to 5 minutes running in Q1. He gets through. He manages to go all the way to Q3 and qualify 6th. We start the race. Vettel leads. Then they pit. Mercedes do a better strategy. Bottas gets in front. Then Gasly and Hartly come together. Carnage. Well, there was debris everywhere. Safety cars out. Changed the game. Red Bull did probably one of the best strategy moves that you saw all weekend. Apparently, it came out just too late for Mercedes and the Ferraris to react. So that was their explanation of why they didn't go for it. But Red Bull took full advantage of it, and it paid off. Now let's play back. Let's play back how it played out over the radio as that was happening on track. So don't forget, the safety car, it wasn't a virtual safety car, it was a safety car. So, after the debris, race director's like, you know what? Safety car. And it went like this.
Safety car, box this lap, Daniel, box this lap, box this lap.
So he boxed, they double stacked, him and Verstappen double stacked, went on the soft tyres. And while they're behind the safety car, something very interesting happened. Hamilton noticed it. He's like, hang on a minute. What's going on here? Have a listen.
Fronts are super cold. Is it me or have I got a bunch of cars that have new tyres on behind me?
So it's Verstappen is the car with new softs, then Raikkonen, and then we have Ricciardo again, new soft.
Shoot, why don't we stop for new tyres?
Because they'd then be in front of you.
So at this stage, I'll explain what Mercedes were thinking. Basically, they thought track position at that stage was more important. Because obviously, if they pitted, they would have lost a few positions. But Mercedes, at that point in time, they were like, track position's more important, as you heard from Toto Wolff. Because you'll lose positions, basically. So that's why they stayed out. It proved to be the wrong move, clearly. It wasn't good. Bottas coming second. The Red Bulls at this point had way more speed and grip. They could overtake anything. Ricciardo came out of nowhere and did some mad overtakes on Bottas, some awesome overtakes on Vettel. And because Verstappen had that crash with Vettel, Ricciardo benefited from it again. And up he went. He just kept going. It was awesome to watch. And I would sincerely like to get some overtaking lessons from Ricciardo because he's a madman. Absolute madman. So anyway, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. So what did you guys think of Daniel Ricciardo's run? I'm sure it impressed a lot of people because I know it impressed me. That's for sure. Let's have a look. One day I'll have like 50 screens so I don't need to like minimize everything all the time. Oh, the technical difficulties of being an amateur YouTube podcast man. All right. We will actually talk about Baku very, very shortly. But I think everyone had a lot of time with Ricciardo's driving. And to finish off Ricciardo's driving win, we're just going to finish it off with his final radio message, and then we'll go to everything that you guys want to talk about. This is what he had to say on the radio at the end of the race.
Yes, boys.
Nice job, mate. Clinical moves. Cutthroat. Scary. Nice job. Absolutely brilliant, mate.
Well done, Daniel. That was Genty for doing all that hard work. He's going to go up and represent the boys in the garage today, so he'll be joining you up on the podium. So, congratulations, well done.
Oh, I'm speechless. What a turnaround. Happy to see it all.
I think you might have a bit of a thick head as well tomorrow. You got the fastest.
He got the fastest lap as well. Interestingly, I couldn't, when he was on the podium, I couldn't tell if he was going to cry because he was kind of laughing. I don't think he could believe what happened, to be honest. But it was an excellent drive from the man. He did a shoey, and yes, Jack, I will bring you the shoey. It's coming this week before Friday, as long as everything goes smoothly. All right, Ant-Man, good. Welcome to the podcast, man. Now, DDA, we're going to go back to DDA. Leclerc, remember, had the DDA issue? Our man KBH explained it. Let's tune into what he said. DDA stands for Driver Default Action. Of course it does. Acronyms everywhere. This means that the car changes its differential speed for each... Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I had no idea that technology existed. The reason why it's driver default is because it is set before the race and the driver has 5 settings on the wheel to change it. Hence his balance was bad. Right, I get ya. I get ya. You know what? I'm going to make a video about what the DDA is. I want to know more about this thing. That sounds very interesting. But thanks for sharing that, KBH. That's pretty cool stuff. Let's have a look what the crowd want to talk about. We've got everyone going off in chat. Sorry the chat screen on screen's not as huge. But don't forget, if you get in Discord, I can see a lot more of Discord. That's why I give Discord a lot more of the real estate on screen. A lot of benefits to joining Discord. Not just that you get on your questions answered quicker, but you can talk to me during the off season when that happens. We're a long way yet, but even in the off weeks, you can still talk to me. So, but there's a whole bunch of other fans in there that like motorsport, F1. I like GT Sport as well. We've got GT Sport fans as well. Talk about anything. If you are a YouTuber as well, as long as you join, we do have. You're free to share your videos in there. It's a totally open community, so that's why Discord gets more real estate, because I'm promoting it. Alright, what else do we guys want to talk about? Let's go through the list. The whole Vettel versus Verstappen incident. We did talk about that, but yeah, it was it upset a few people. Ferrari and Mercedes are pretty damn close. That's a good point. Mercedes at China weren't anywhere near Ferrari, and they weren't anywhere near Mercedes weren't anywhere near Ferrari during qualifying, but they are closer this year. If it was just down to the track and the setup, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see that gap come Baku. So it's good to see that they're close, and I think Red Bull is getting even closer at the same time as well. So we might even see the leading driver change a few times this season. I don't know. We're only three races in, but I think it might happen. All right. Rick winning more races this year. He definitely will. Ricciardo is a living torpedo, I'll tell you that. KK, Mercs have the advantage on corners while Ferrari has the advantage on straights. Yeah, I think that's true, but I was watching the live speeds of both the Mercs and the Ferrari, and I swear the Merc was getting quicker times during at least qualifying. I wasn't really watching it during the race. But yeah, I think you're right, but something's in my head's telling me I saw it the opposite way around. Unless I'm getting the colours mixed up, but yeah, I think you're right. I think Ferrari have dominated the straights while Mercedes have dominated gripping corners, basically. And yeah, Tiger saying, thanks KPH, learn something new every day. Yeah, thanks for the DDA thing, man. I'm going to make a video about that, because that's an interesting tech. Are you really far from your mic? I can only hear you when the volume is blasted all the way. Blinda. The mic is right next to me. I may have it set up in the wrong setting. If that's the case, I apologize. It's probably going to be a lot better now. I'll make sure that's fixed next time. But thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'm sorry you have to blast your ears off, or I won't talk as loud. All right. Flying Tiger, here's a topic. Maybe a tinfoil hat thing, but does anyone think that perhaps the safety car could have been deployed in such a way that the front runners also had a chance to react? This was talked about after the race, Tiger. And Rosberg's, I think, said it pretty well, that the race director should only have to worry about reacting to when something's needed. So if the safety car is required, he just hits that button or whatever he does. It did take a little while for them to react. I don't know what the issue was there, but I don't think the race director should be taking into account anything to do with the outcome of the race. If he sees there's an issue or there's a safety concern, he does what he needs to do straight away. And I'm sure the drivers know, you know, if a safety car does come, it's going to mix things up a little bit. So I think it's just one of those things. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that like to start conspiracies about it, but I really don't think there's anything other than that Charlie saw that he needed to bring out the safety car, basically. All right. KBH saying, am I the one guy to see huge problems with the Sauber car overheating? This is because of their split. I think you are. I didn't realize that it was overheating. But maybe I should talk to you before a podcast and get some topics off you, because you know a lot more of the in-depth stuff, KP. Thanks for bringing that up. I will also look into the Sauber thing. I know that the Ferrari car smokes because of the way that they've been told to exhaust, where the oil exhausts and how they burn it off. It actually comes out underneath the red rain light. But yeah, I didn't know that about the Sauber at all. So that's going to be an interesting one to follow up. KPH saying, I was right, Mercedes had slower straight. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought that was the deal, because I'm pretty sure I was watching the live speeds and the Mercedes were getting a few kilometers quicker than Ferrari, where the Ferrari was sort of, you know, at the limit and it wasn't going any higher. So thanks for fixing that one up. Awesome. All right. Yeah, sorry about the microphone. I thought it would work. This microphone has certain settings to capture the sound, and I didn't put it on the right setting, obviously. Because I can actually have someone sit behind left and right, and it'll capture sound at all angles, but I set it up to only do it from the front. So I do apologize about the sound at the start. I'm totally amateur at this podcast thing. This is only our second episode. But like Daniel Ricciardo said on the podium, lick the stamp and send it. Just doing it. We'll learn as we go, huh? We'll get better along the way. All right. F1 needs more teams, says Sam. It would be good if F1 had a lot more teams, wouldn't it? But then, I don't know. Do we want more cars on track? It would be nice to have more cars on track. I think more cars is always fun. But then you have a lot more traffic. I don't know if you've watched the Super GT race before. They're quite something to watch. When the Super GT 500 cars get up to the slower class, it's just chaos. It's a busy highway. It's like trying to race on a busy highway. So yeah, that's something I think if you have more cars in F1, that's something you'd have to think about. It would be traffic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would totally go for that one. KBH schooling me again as usual. He should be my host, or my co-host at least. They burn off oil to give more pressure into their piston by overall giving more straight line speed. This is why Ferrari are a little bit faster. Nice. KBH is our technical man. If you've got any technical questions about anything Formula One, hit up KPH on our Discord. He's in our Discord. You should be too. You'll be learning things every day if you talk to this guy. Thank you, dude. You've been a real help. 12 would be a decent amount, says Sam. 12, 20, 24 cars. Yeah, so 2 more teams. Yeah, I'd go for that. I could do 2 more teams. Just don't know who you do. I don't know. I think it's good that F1 has gone the way of the hybrid world, because they obviously motor racing starts so they can sell cars and develop the technology for the road cars. Hence, Formula E's out, or hybrid, and that's why there's a lot of interest in Formula E at the moment. So yeah, if F1 can keep developing technologies that are relevant, hopefully we can get more teams. I think 12 is a good number. I agree. KBH is the man, Tiger. He's awesome. If I could do like a subscriber of the month, you've already won it. Like, no doubt. You've schooled everyone tonight on the DDA, the hidden wing that no one knows about under a Renault except for you. And what was the last one? The smoke oil thing that I didn't even know about existed either. Thank you for being here, dude. Awesome. Ferrari has all the things set in to win the World Championship. Only thing left, a good strategy. Yeah. Ferrari over the years they've had some weird strategy calls over times, haven't they? It is something I think Ferrari I thought worked on, but yeah, I think they need to continue maybe coming up with something, maybe taking a risk here and there, maybe staggering the strategy at the start even, you know. I don't know. But strategy is probably one of the weakest points of Ferrari, if there's a weak point. Sam Baker saying, I think F1 are looking to add another team or two. Well, Sam Baker is a real-world racer, so he'll get there. We might see we might see KPH in the F1 one day, and would it be all right of me to say that we would have the exclusive interview when that happens, dude? It'll be all here on Demo One Garage when that happens. He does race in Formula 4, so he's 3, 2, 1. He's 3 off. Tiger saying, maybe if KPH was his technical director back in the day, I would have been more successful as a driver. Driver as well, Tiger. Awesome. Yeah, we've... I think we've got a lot of drivers in this group. Or a few anyway. I'm a virtual driver, obviously, on GT Sport. I'm okay. Because of certain things, I can't race in a real world car, but I would love maybe one day to be in an esports competition, but that's a lot of practice, I think. Some of the guys online are just insane. And especially with the esports thing open now for the Formula 1, I might give it a go, but I don't even know if I'll get to the qualifying round. Not even past that. Oh, KBH it's breaking news. We would have the most exclusivest interview when he makes F1. It's in writing. It's on the chat. So everyone, in a couple of years, let's we'll be able to talk to KPH and hopefully get some inside knowledge on what's going on. Awesome, dude. All right. So that was everything pretty much covered up today. We had the Gasly incident. We had the Verstappen incident. We had Bottas doing a undertake move on Vettel. Vettel came 8th. Ricciardo had an amazing win. We found out a few new technologies thanks to KPH. And we also locked ourselves in for an exclusive interview with him when he joins F1. The last thing I think we need to talk about is Baku. Have we got any predictions for Baku? I'm just trying to think. I think it's Hulkenberg who likes... No, Magnussen. Magnussen likes Baku. So we might even see Magnussen. Maybe top 5? Maybe top 5. That'd be awesome to see. But who will win Baku? You know what? I'm going to go Daniel Ricciardo. After his performance last year at Monaco, I wonder if he'll be able to do it again this year. And there'll probably be a safety car at Baku as well. I'll put money on that. Definitely. So we'll probably see the Ferraris up front as well. So maybe I reckon the Mercedes might struggle again. Sorry, the Mercedes... I don't know. They might. They probably will. Alright, let's see what you guys have to say. Yeah, I do know about the exhaust. They're in weird spots, aren't they? Like, one's under the rain light. I don't really mind it, to be honest. It's not something that I sort of went, ooh, that's bad, or ooh, that's not a good look. But I don't know, maybe you guys have got some valid points. KK going with Vettel or Hamilton there. Fair enough. That's a pretty safe bet. Ant-Man Green going for Verstappen. You know what? If he doesn't stuff up, massive possibility that might happen. Sam Baker, a driver from Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes on the podium. Yes. I think you're right as well. I'll give that one a tick. P1 Ricciardo. I'm with you, man. I'm totally giving Ricciardo this one. Totally. P2, a Haas. I'm going to say the best Haas will be 5th. And it might be Magnussen. I'm going to say Magnussen's 5th. Just saying it right now. Regardless of where he qualifies. 5th. Big call. Going back to the exhaust thing, Tiger saying he loved the old exhausts that were flush with the top of the rear bodywork. Yeah, I guess the cosmetic look is something that probably annoys people like the Halo does. But I'm kind of getting used to the Halo. The only thing I hate about the Halo is when we're on board with the drivers, I can't see the number on the front, so I don't immediately know who's driving the car when I'm talking to you guys. So I'm sort of like, oh, we're riding on board with, don't know, because I can't see the goddamn number. But I do like how Haas have the name on the inside, so that helps. KK also saying McLaren's car is underdeveloped. Yeah, I think they were holding back on, what do you call it, developments until, I think it was Monaco, maybe? They were holding off for a little bit. There was a reason, I can't remember the reason. Alright. Alright, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining. You guys were all a part of our second podcast episode. Hopefully things went pretty smoothly. Apologies about the microphone at the start. I will get better at this thing. And yeah, I enjoyed the China race, but we've got Baku coming up next. Don't forget, I'll be doing that all live commentary here on Demo 1 Garage. And during the off-season, I'll be playing a bit of Gran Turismo Sport, and I might even jump on F1. So if you've got a PlayStation 4, add me. My name is Tyneside on the PS4. Same name I have on YouTube. And let's go race. And Discord as well. Make sure you join the Discord. The Discord is worth it, totally. Alright, we've got new messages in Discord. Just finished up with them. Overheating from KPH. Ant-Man said, as long as it doesn't turn into NASCAR fields, I think Lotus should come back as one of those teams. When we're talking about extremes. Interesting. Well, that's a nice way to end the stream, I think. Alright, I appreciate everyone coming along. We will get better at this, obviously, as things go along. But you're champions for coming along and supporting us. And yeah, Baku. See you guys then. And don't forget to race hard and on the edge. I'm Josh. This is Demo 1 Garage. I'll catch you guys later. Ciao.